this video. Hello everyone out there and everyone watching this video. It's me, your teacher again, Friday, and in today's presentation I will be taking you through punctuation, or making sense of what you write. Some people call it using a dictionary, some people call it punctuation, and as for me, sometimes I call it making sense of what you write. Yeah, like I told you in the very first beginning, it's me, your teacher, Friday again, and today's presentation will all be about punctuation marks. Yeah, in the very first place, I'll talk about the capital letters. Capital letters. Where and when do we use capital letters? In writing sentences, in writing stories, writing essays, writing texts. When we use capital letters? Yeah, we need these capital letters to begin new sentences. So when you're beginning a new sentence, a fresh sentence, for it to be graded and accorded as a grammatically correct sentence, it should begin with a capital letter. So when you're beginning a new sentence, you need to begin it with a capital letter. Then another way we use capital letters for proper nouns. When you're writing a proper noun, whether it is at the beginning of the sentence, or at the middle of the sentence, or at the end of the sentence, this proper noun should begin with a capital letter. What are the proper nouns? I talked about proper nouns when I was teaching nouns. Proper nouns, these are names, different names. It can be names of places, names of people, names of books, names of families, titles of films, titles of movies, to mention but a few. As long as it is a name of something, it should begin with a capital letter. But no matter where it is in a sentence, whether it is at the beginning or at the end, it should be in capital letter. Can you think of any proper nouns which need capital letters? Yeah, it's a question to you watching this video. What do you think are those things that need capital letters? Like I told you in the very first place, so these are names. What do you think are those things that need capital letters whenever we're writing them? Whether at the beginning or at the end. I told you this can be months of the year, can be days of the week, can be names of people, can be names of places, names of building, titles of books, titles of films, to mention but a few. So you can fix there the proper nouns that you know by yourself. You can even begin by your name. Okay? So these are some of the proper nouns. Like Jenny. Let's look at the sentence. Jenny, who lived in King Street. So into that sentence, we have two proper nouns, Jenny and King Street. So King Street is the name of a certain street, and Jenny is the name of a person. So these are supposed to be begun with a capital letter, no matter where they are. We have another sentence here. Manchester had a pet frog who liked to jump in air. Manchester had a pet frog who liked to jump in the air. So into that sentence, we are saying that Manchester is the name of a person, and that's why Manchester, his name begins with a capital letter. She wrote a book about it called The Leaping Frog. She wrote a book about it called The Leaping Frog. Now, why is the S capital? Because the S is beginning a sentence. Now here, the article the is beginning with a capital letter because it is following the name of the title of this book. The name of the title of the book, which is Leaping Frog. And the frog is the one we are referring to. So the whole of this is the title of that particular book. That is why you're seeing those letters capitalized. Okay? And that is the frog we're talking about. Why do you think we need full stops? I will be talking about proper nouns and capital letters. But now we're going to look at something else, which is full stops. Why do you think we need full stops? You, the viewer of this video, why do you think we need full stops whenever we are writing? Whenever we're writing essays, whenever we're writing stories, whenever we're writing sentences, why do you think we need full stops? Yeah, according to me, full stops are needed to divide sentences so that we know where to pause. You know, when you're speaking, you can't speak like a radio. Even radio sometimes puts some full stop. Even an MP3 player which plays music, it also stops somewhere. It pauses somewhere. So some people speak and they can't stop. They're as if they are rapping. And I believe even the rappers can also stop at a certain point. So whenever we're writing, whenever we're speaking, we need full stops into our sentences, into our essays, into our stories. So full stops are needed to divide up sentences so that we know where to pause. Yeah? You can't speak like a machine. You can't speak like a generator. It's a generator that starts and it has to stop when it is being stopped. So as a human, whenever you're speaking and you're speaking sense, you have to pause at a certain point. So that is why we apply full stops. We apply full stops so that this particular speech began from here and stopped here. And you can't give a whole speech without stopping at a certain point. So we use full stops to pause in our speech, in our essays, in our texts, in everything we write and everything we talk. We need to have some full stops. Okay? They are used when we have finished saying one thing and we are going to say something else. So when you're you're listing out some stuff, like you're raising some points, you have to speak at a certain time, you stop. You have to speak and then you reach somewhere, you stop. You can't continue speaking and you're as if you're flowing like water. You know, it is a river which flows non-stop. It does not pause anywhere. But when you're talking, we expect you to raise, like you can say, the first point, after you pause it, after you raise another point. And when you're writing, you can write in bullet form, you can write in paragraph form. When you're paragraphing, after paragraph, you have to end with a full stop. Okay? Can you spot where full stops are needed? Where do we really need full stops into our sentences? You, the viewer of this video, and you, the learner watching this video out there, where do we need full stops? Into our sentences, into our essays, where do we put full stops? Now, according to me, I have a sentence here which needs to be punctuated. It needs to be punctuated. It needs to be, in fact, the purpose was not put full stops there. I want you to put some full stops and punctuate it rightly. The sentence goes, Sin was eating a large pizza. He was getting fed up with it. He decided to give the rest to the dog. The dog was happy. So, during your free time, punctuate that sentence and see where the full stop is needed. Like, for example, if I'm to go through this sentence, Sin was eating a large pizza. he was fed up with it. Full stop. Then you begin with a capital letter. He decided to give the rest to the dog. You can also put the full stop. The dog was happy. Those are 3 sentences continuing one story. Okay? So that is scene, and the pizza was too much for him, and he decided to give it to the dog. Okay. Commas. When do we need commas? And why do we need them? So we need commas to separate items in a list. For example, when you're listing some things into a sentence, you're listing up more than 2, more than 3 things in a list. You can't say a dog and a cat and a puppy and and everywhere you're fixing there and. No, you have to apply some commas for items which are in the list and there are more than 2, more than 3. We apply a comma. You can use and anyway if you're talking about only 2 things, but when there are more than 2, then we need to apply commas into that particular list. For example, she had a ham sandwich, a drink, a jelly, and a chocolate bar for lunch. You see? So I said more than 2 things. Now this particular lady here had a sandwich, a drink, a jelly, and a chocolate. So the last thing you end with, it is where you put and. You can say she had a ham sandwich, comma, a drink, comma, a jelly, comma, a chocolate bar. No. The last item, you follow it with and. The commas are applied onto the first 2 and the other, the first things. Then the one you end with, you apply and. Okay? So these are the items that this lady had. She had a sandwich, a drink, a jelly, and a chocolate bar for lunch. That is what she had for lunch. So these items are listed in a list, and when you're listing them, you're supposed to apply commas to separate them. Any other reasons for commas? Why do you think, apart from listing items in a list, apart from listing some things down, why do you think we need commas? So we also use commas to separate clauses in complex sentences. If clauses. Those of you who remember if 1, if 2, and if 3, when we're separating if clauses, we apply commas in punctuation. We apply commas when we are separating the words, when we're separating direct speech from an indirect speech. We also apply commas. And if we're writing if clauses, most of you know them as if 1, if 2, and if 3. If I were a dog, I would bark. If I were a dog, apply comma, I would bark. We don't apply full stops, okay? Like we're saying here into this sentence. The boy was playing with a ball which had been signed by Wayne Rooney. The boy was playing with a football which had been signed by Wayne Rooney. You're seeing where we've applied the comma. So this is the boy who was playing with a ball which had been signed. I think he had got an autograph from Wayne Rooney. Question marks as another kind of punctuation. Question marks. When do we apply question marks? And when do we use question marks? So of course we use question marks when a question is asked. Question marks are commonly used in interrogative sentences, questioning sentences. This often occurs when characters use speech. Interrogative sentences, questioning sentences, we end them with a question mark. Okay. Can you all hear me? Can hear. The person into our sentence here is asking, can you all hear me? That is an interrogative statement, a questioning statement. So you're supposed to respond whether you are hearing or not. That's why this sentence is ending with a question mark. Then they have speech marks. Speech marks, most people call them quotation marks. Why? Because they quote the word is spoken by a certain person, and if somebody else is reporting them, then they have to quote those exact words that were given by a certain speaker. So we let the reader know when someone is speaking by putting the speech marks around the spoken words. So when you're reading a certain text, we show you that this is how the other speaker uttered out his or her words, and we write them exactly the same way they mentioned them, and then we enclose them with the speech marks, or we quote them with the quotation marks. Okay? For example, I'll be on TV someday. I'll be on TV someday, announced Jimmy. So the words you're seeing into the speech marks are the exact words that Jimmy said. Just you wait and see. Just you wait and see. So that is the exact way Jimmy spoke. That I will be on TV someday. So that is what Jimmy said that particular day. And the words are enclosed with the speech marks, which you people call quotation marks. Just you wait and see. So he's promising at a certain time he will be on TV. Just be patient with him. You will see him. You can see he's imagining himself being on TV. Okay. Then the next thing is the exclamation marks. The exclamation marks. Exclamation marks are used to emphasize meaning. Exclamation marks are used to emphasize meaning. It could be to. Okay? Giving a word more strength. If you're giving a word more strength, we use exclamation marks. Okay? Showing someone is shouting. If someone is shouting, we also use exclamation marks. Okay? Adding a sense of urgency, show that something is really urgent and needed. Most often we use exclamation marks. Okay? Like for example, help! You end with an exclamation mark. You can see it here. Somebody shouting for help. Somebody shouting for help, and we apply an exclamation mark to show that this is something that is very urgent. Okay? What shall we do now? Now, to memorize what we've gone through, first use capitals and full stops. Read out loud to yourself and identify each of these sentences. Okay? Have you used the capital letter for proper nouns? Check if you have a long sentences or a list that need dividing up in the commas. We are reviewing whatever we went through. Have you used any question? What do you need? So when you're writing questions, what do you need? You realize in that question you need question marks. Have you ever shown a character speaking? So when a character is speaking, in that particular sentence, we shall need the quotation marks. Do you wish to emphasize some words? You realize when you're emphasizing some words, we shall need some quotation marks. So this was our today's lesson, and you need to check out these punctuations. Okay? The full stops, the commas, the question mark, and the speech marks, and then finally the exclamation marks. I've not gone into all the details of all of them because there are very many. We have the semicolonies, we have the full colonies, and some others that I've not mentioned, but for today I've taken you through these: the question marks, the comma, the full stop, the speech marks, and the exclamation mark. So you will have all a punctuation check. Use it every time you're writing a good essay, you're writing a good text. Please use those punctuation marks. I'm winding up this video. I appreciate you for watching this video, for keeping tuned, and for always following my tutorials. Even my battery is getting low. So thank you for watching this video. I remain your teacher, Friday. Yeah, thank you for watching.